Hey everyone, welcome to Driver Swap. My name is Griffin. I hope everyone's having a great holiday season, and I wish you all a wonderful new year. Today's video is a recap of the special event that took place over this last weekend in Le Mans Ultimate called the Thrustmaster Holiday Challenge, a 90-minute race at Interlagos that I've technically already spoiled with the short video I posted just a couple days ago. I figured I'd show the rest of the highlights mainly for fun. This was sadly the only opportunity that I had to run this race. I would have loved a little more time, a couple more opportunities to do so, but with holiday plans it wasn't possible. My amazing family togetherness is interrupting my sim racing time. You get it. For the time slot I signed up for, 167 other drivers had also signed up, so it dropped me into split 4 of 5, starting us off with a 10-minute practice session, which I won't show because nothing happened. This event also featured a 20-minute qualifying session, the hardest part of which was that it was not a private qualifying session, so everyone is on track trying to set their qualifying time at the same time. At the end of the 20 minutes, I had achieved and then lost pole position, which is totally fine because I didn't want it anyways. I ended the qualifying session in third, which is totally what I was aiming for. I got a 1:35.955, a whopping 6/10 behind the pole sitter and about 2/10 behind second. I threw some positive words of encouragement in chat, foolishly thinking it's going to help me in this race. Spoiler, it does not. Shockingly. The last point here is that the race is an open setup race, so people can make modifications to their car setups if they want. I don't know anything about that, so I chose to go with the Coach Dave Academy setup instead of the default. Now, with all that said, we're going to go ahead and jump to the formation line. I'll be jumping around this race quite a bit. If you want to watch the entire thing uninterrupted, you can. It's in the live area of this channel. I was live streaming it. And right off the start, we see some of the drivers behind me attempting some elite bump drafting tech before the race has even started. Although I don't think that works like they think it does. We'll let them try anyways. Jumping ahead to the green light, turns 1 and 2 are always chaotic here. The combination of tight left-hander and right-hander on cold tires with everyone bunched up is a recipe for contact. I know that. Especially with what we've seen so far in this race, people bumping each other when nobody has even started moving yet. It doesn't bode well for any of us. Despite my positive vibes I put in chat. Although we do make it through turns 1, 2, and 3 with just minor contact. So that maybe my positive vibes did work. My thinking going into this race is that it is a 90-minute endurance race. I don't need to battle that hard with the people in front or even the people behind me to start with. I need to settle in, find a groove, and over the course of 90 minutes, hopefully I can gain a position or two just by being consistent. I'm not looking to rush my strategy, only going for a move if one opens up for me, at least at the start. And if I start getting pressure from behind, maybe I'll make a move then. I'll go ahead and let this first lap play out, and then we can jump ahead from there. At the start of lap 2, as we go through these first series of corners, I noticed that the person behind me in 4th place starts to drop off pretty dramatically. And I know it's not me being just super fast elite driver or something, but they do go from less than a second behind me to over 3.5 seconds and counting. I did notice this at the time, but I'd assumed they just messed up the corner or had some track limit penalty or something. But looking at it from their perspective, it appears they have some kind of hardware or software issue preventing them from shifting their car, so it's not just a skill issue. As you will see, they do eventually pull over to sort out their issues, but much like my parents' station wagon back in the 90s, the issues will persist. This is just one of the myriad of issues that this driver will face throughout this race, some of which are self-inflicted. They have some spin-outs, a couple run-ins with a wall. As we have already seen in this race, this driver seems to have trouble with stationary objects. My guess is that this is where their frustration begins, and it only gets worse from here. So with all that said, let's go ahead and jump back up to the front of the pack for just a little bit. Jumping forward a few laps to lap number 9, I've been following these two guys up at the front for the entire race so far with very little to show for it. Neither the drivers in front of me nor I have made any big mistakes at this point, but none of us have really tried to make any moves either. Nothing really exciting has happened up to this point. I'm still not really feeling rushed to make a move anyways. We're only 15 minutes into a 90-minute race, so I'm just keeping a close eye on the gap between myself and the cars ahead of me, as well as the cars behind. This race so far has just been us slowly separating ourselves from the group behind us. I am noticing that there are some spots in the infield area of this track where I genuinely feel faster than the Corvette up at the front. I can see areas where that driver is making some small errors and losing some time, so I'm trying to make some mental notes for myself where I can make a move in the future. I can also tell that the Ferrari is preparing to make a move here based on some of the lines I'm seeing them use. It's at the end of lap number 9 that the Ferrari attempts to spice things up and they make good on some of these moves, and they go for a pass here in the final corner. And just like that, a small mistake by the Ferrari causes a momentary loss of control and I'm up into second place. I know that the driver that I just passed is really quick, so I'm already watching the relative times and preparing a move on the Corvette if a spot opens up. If I see the Ferrari closing the distance, which I am fully expecting to see, my plan is to apply some pressure to the Corvette and attempt a pass going into the inner portion of the track where I think I can make up a little time and give myself some breathing room. And as expected, the Ferrari that spun out on lap 9 had lost another position by the end of that lap, but by lap 13 had made the pass to retake third position and was making up quite a bit of time on the two of us, so I knew that I had to make a move quickly. And after some careful navigating, I was able to complete the pass in a section of the track that I feel pretty comfortable. I have to hope now that I can put at least a second or so between myself and this Corvette by the time I get to the final straightaway. I also have to hope that if this Ferrari does continue to catch up, that this Corvette once again gives them a bit of a challenge, giving me time to run away just a little faster. Following my totally epic pass to overtake first place, by the time I get to the final corner and enter the final straightaway to complete lap 13, I have about a 1 second gap to the Corvette that I totally epically just passed. Something that I just stated I thought I would need. Totally epically. I was as surprised as you might be. Then, the following lap, lap 14, I earn another second to add to the gap to the cars behind me in the area of the track that I thought I was faster, that being the infield section. So I am doing exactly what I felt I had to do to put time in between myself and them. Then the next lap, lap 15, it's yet another second to add to the gap, giving me a nice buffer for my in-lap on lap 16. I do lose a little bit of time on this lap for a track violation, so I end up lifting on the throttle to reduce my point penalty, but I don't end up losing that much time anyways. Coming into the pits, I was in first place, and I was feeling confident that I could keep up this pace. My strategy was just to fill the fuel tank, forego any change of tires as they still felt pretty good, and it would save me some time by not changing those tires. What I didn't realize is that my race would end before I would need to. Lap 17 was my out lap. It was largely uneventful. Getting a little heat back into the tires and getting back up to speed wasn't too difficult. The few drivers that didn't pit on the same lap as me were getting into the pit lane while I was coming around the infield. I wasn't sure what kind of strategy they were on, but I figured I would pass them pretty easily and continue on until my next pit stop in about 25 minutes. Lap 18 is where the actual drama begins. Coming up to the end of the lap, I come across the car in 27th position. For the first few corners, I keep my distance, and I just kind of observe their driving line. I didn't know that this was the Corvette that was playing bumper cars in the formation line, or that they've spun out several times since that moment. They've had technical issues with their shifting, and they, as of just a few seconds before this moment, hit the wall damaging their car because they were running on cold tires due to their pit stop. But what I do know is that they have a blue flag to indicate they should be letting me through without fighting me. You can see the flashing blue signs on both sides of the final straightaway, as well as a really helpful indicator inside of your own car in case you can't be asked to look out your own windows. I make a move to the inside early so they know I have the intention of passing into corner 1. I know I still need to be somewhat careful here, but I figured since they gave up the inside line and they have flashing blue signs literally everywhere, I was clear to make a move. Unfortunately, we have a collision that damages my car in corner 1 and corner 2, but I'm actually still driving okay. I chalk it up to a bad attempt by me, maybe. Maybe I went a little too deep into the corner and I caught them off guard. I don't know. But now my concern is that the driver has zero intention of giving up the space, given their behavior following the collision is literally to just run away. I had no idea that they would continue to go to such great lengths to keep me from getting past, and would ultimately end my endurance race so unceremoniously. So there we have it. This is how my very first online endurance race would come to an end. It was frustrating, probably for both him and I, for different reasons. But my takeaway is that it really doesn't matter how realistic the simulation may be or how long and intense the event itself might be. It only takes one frustrated driver to end it all. There was really good racing to be had here, and I would have loved to see this to the end, but it was not meant to be. Will I do more of these? Absolutely. My goal for this next year is to be more involved with some online events, and to post more content, mainly for my own amusement and for the amusement of the few of you who watch these. For nothing else, to practice racing because I really love and enjoy it, and to practice editing these videos because, as far as I'm concerned, it's a necessary evil. With all that said, I hope you've enjoyed this video. That's all for me today. Once again, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and I hope you all have a wonderful New Year. Stay safe and stay racing. See you later.